back on the road. Hopefully without any issues this time. We're heading north, Penrith tonight, and then on into southern Scotland over the next few days. So we got the van back a couple of days ago from the garage. The steering problem has hopefully been repaired. A new steering rack has now been fitted. So this should be an uninterrupted trip. So Penrith Castle dates back to the 14th century, and it was at one time the home of Richard, Duke of Gloucester, who later became Richard III. The castle is part of a public park, free to enter and roam around, and does give some lovely views across Penrith and onto the hills beyond. So we're taking a little walk near Penrith and a nature reserve before we leave and move into southern Scotland. It's a beautiful day, quite cold overnight, but it's really nice in the sun today. So this is a nature reserve just on the edge of Penrith that's been created to help with problems with flooding. I think this is an excellent way of dealing with that problem because it's created this beautiful big pond. There's a few ducks around, and the stream that used to supply water to Penrith has been brought into the lake. Apparently we get kingfishers here, although we haven't spotted any as yet. It's a lovely area right on the edge of where the campsite is. So this is the CL that we're staying at the moment. It's right on the Solway Firth, so we get stunning views across the Firth. The tide's quite low at the moment, but it is coming in. 5 pitches, as always with the CL. Very quiet, as you can see, and a very quiet night. Cycle ride, we've come across this little well known as the Brow Well, and this has been here for a long time. Like many of these little springs, it's supposed to have curative properties, and its claim to fame is that Robert Burns apparently visited when he was dying. I think he was very ill, and he hoped that the water might help to cure him. And this is now considered a place to come and remember Robert Burns. They have a ceremony every July to commemorate his visit here. But it's a very pretty spot. There's a bench to have a sit down and look over the well, and it's been really well renovated. When we arrived at the Wildlife and Wetland Trust, we had some lunch and then we had a nice wander around. Not the best time of year for birds, but we did see some deer in the distance and there were some lovely walks. If you're enjoying the video, please think about liking and subscribing. It's free and it helps us to grow the channel. At our stop for the night, and this is the Isle of Whithorn. We arrived here about 3 o'clock and you drive through the village out onto the harbour, and at the end of the harbour is a car park, and at 3 o'clock it's very busy. So we are perched there on the left on the end. That was the only space that we could find, and there's still vans arriving even now. It's a lovely little village, very pretty, as you can see, nice harbour area. There's a pub there, the Steam Packet Inn, we'll be having our dinner tonight, and we're just off for a nice coastal walk to get the appetite ready. Next morning we took a walk around the headland behind the park up. There's an old chapel called St Ninian's Chapel that dates back to the 1300s, and there's some beautiful views to have a look at before we moved on to our next stop. coastline today. We drove on a lovely road that followed the coast quite closely, saw quite a lot of nice park-ups on the way, and we finished up at a big campsite with a touring area called Luce Bay Caravan Park. Just make it out in the distance there. We parked up, had lunch, and then we'd come out for a beautiful walk along the coast. It's a gorgeous day again. So we walked along the coast. There's a little village called Sandhead, a nice little shop and a pub. And then we walked along this coastline and we've had a really nice walk. We've seen oyster catchers, curlew, we've seen red shank, and we saw a deer. There's a path next to the coast path alongside this field. And the deer was running along that path not so long ago. And then just round the headland from here we saw at least one, maybe two seals. So all in all, a really good afternoon walk. Down, and we've stopped at Ninian Bay campsite, our motorhome club site, with some rather nice views on our pitch. We're pretty quiet, so we're allowed to just choose where we wanted to park up. I think this will do nicely. The air is on the main runway of the old RAF Wig Bay airfield, which was a base for flying boats. The area around includes a 2-mile coastal loop walk around the bay, the Scar and Loch Ryan, as well as a longer route if you've got time up through woodland. Pictures of the air are on the old airplane stands, so there's loads of room to park how you like and you're always far from other vans. We stopped off for lunch in Girvan. There is motorhome parking at the harbour in Girvan, and we had debated whether to stay there overnight, but not all the reviews were great for this particular park up, some noise both at night and in the morning. So we were stopping for our lunch, we went for a walk around, and then we moved on to a campsite for the night. We'd chosen a campsite in Ayr, mainly so that we could go out for a meal that evening, as it was my birthday, so we wanted to go somewhere nice. Next morning, we got up to a forecast of rain for pretty much the whole of the next week, so we decided to head home and call an end to this trip, ready for our next trip in a couple of weeks' time.